the sun's coming out, the soil's warming up. It's a great time to plant and get your gardens growing, whether it's flowers or vegetables. But along with those plants that we want to grow, there's going to be a lot of weeds coming up as well too. And there's some nice things we can do to prevent a lot of those weeds from coming up before they even get started. Of course, in my own garden, hoe works great for me as an excellent way to get the garden cleaned up and get some of those weeds out. And then once I get the weeds taken care of, I'll put my weed barrier down and prevent a lot of weeds from coming up. But I can't always do that in with my perennial plants or in where my bulbs are and where I'm moving things around. I don't want to have weed barrier down all the time. So instead of getting out there with a hoe and hoeing it every week, what can I do to prevent those weeds from coming up so I don't have to do all that work all summer? That's where Pre Emergents come in, and they'll do so much work for you that it will save you hours and hours of time by letting them do the work instead of you doing all the work as well too. So one of the very first Pre Emergents that came out is a product called Treflan. Now this is Treflan in a granule form. So it comes in a granule. This bag will cover about 500 to 1,000 square feet, so you get quite a bit of coverage out of it. And the Treflan lasts about probably 4 to 8 weeks. It will prevent seeds as they germinate, so it won't kill anything that's there already. So existing plants, existing weeds, it won't bother those because they already have an established root system. The way the Treflan works is it will kill the seeds as they germinate. So as your little seeds are out there, and as the seeds pop open and the germ starts to come out and it starts to root, the Treflan kills that germ just as it comes out of the seeds and prevents it from rooting, and so you don't have a weed that takes control or takes over in that area. And the Treflan's nice because you can use it around all kinds of ornamentals, but it also works on vegetables as well too. So this is a liquid form of the Treflan. It's called Vegetable and Ornamental Weeder. You can use it around a lot of vegetables, and it will prevent those weeds from coming up without damaging or harming or causing problems with your vegetables as well too. So great product to use. There are some that last a lot longer, like the Weed Impede here. Can't use this one around edibles because it just lasts too long. So instead of lasting 4 to 6 to 8 weeks, the Weed Impede actually lasts 4 to 6 months, and so it's going to last much longer than the Treflan. And you can do one application in March or early April, and it will basically prevent those weeds from coming up in your flower beds, in your shrubs, in your landscape planting areas for the rest of the summer. So when you get 6 months out of this product, you're going to get April, May, June, July, August, September. I mean, it's going to be October before you start to have weeds regerminating in those areas. That's the whole season of not having to weed those landscaped areas, those flower beds, those shrubs, and it saves so much work. If you wanted to control some of the weeds that were there already and prevent new ones from coming up, then you'd use a product like the Kills All Extended. So the Kills All Extended has Kills All in it, so it will kill whatever you spray it on. But the Pre Emergent that's in there is very similar to the Weed Impede, and it lasts about 4 to 6 months also. Probably closer to 3 to 4 months would be more accurate. And it's going to kill what's out there. So it'll kill the weeds and the grasses that have germinated and are already growing, but it will also prevent new ones from coming up. I love to use this in my patio area where I've got pavers and I get stuff that comes up in between the cracks. I use this in kind of a gravel area where we like to park some of our vehicles, and it won't kill surrounding shrubs or trees. It will only kill what you spray it on, and then the Pre Emergent will prevent new seeds from germinating for most of the summer. Usually 2 applications will last me the entire year. Spray that area, it won't leach or bleed or move into other areas that you haven't sprayed. It stays right there. So it's a great way for driveways, patios, the field out back that grows really tall and you have to get out there and mow it a couple times. If you've got a vacant lot that you haven't been able to build on yet, this is the product you'd want to use because it's not going to damage or hurt your soil. It's just going to kill those seeds as they germinate for about 3 to 4 months. And then if you want to plant the next year, it's not going to bother it at all. So great product that way. And last but not least, we've got the Cazeron. Cazeron is excellent because it basically kills everything that's there if it doesn't have bark to it or a woody stem. So it's great for shrubs. It works on raspberries, it works on roses, it works on all kinds of cane plants, and it won't damage those plants. So you can use it in your blackberries, you can use it in your grapes, you can use it around fruit trees, you can use it around shrubs or evergreens, and it won't hurt those, but it'll basically kill everything else. So we use this in our raspberries early in the spring before anything starts to come up, and it basically kills all the weeds and the grasses and prevents them from coming back in the raspberries for the whole summer without damaging your raspberries at all. The only concern with the Kazaron you've got to have is you can't use it around flowers, you can't use it around vegetables, you can't use it around anything that doesn't have a woody stem to it. So if it's got bark on it, or if it's a cane like a raspberry or a rose, it's okay to use it on, but everything else, it's going to damage it. So you got to be careful with the Kazaron, but it also lasts 6 to 8 months and just saves so much work throughout the summertime. So a lot of different options, whether we want to go completely organic and go with some weed barrier, go with a hoe, some good old-fashioned sweat and works great, but you do have some options for some products that can really help save you some time and some effort at preventing and stopping weeds from coming up before they get started.